it's my immense privilege to basically welcome you all for this thought-provoking session with a topic which is not only timely but also really transformative. As they arrived with the advent of AI. So, as we see, we all are standing on the brink of a technological era where the convergence of this edge computation and artificial intelligence are basically really shaping the industry trends. Edge, which was once considered as a support layer for this artificial intelligence, has come a long way, and now basically hogging the limelight in terms of I would say the demand of artificial intelligence for the speed, for the accuracy, and the real-time decision making, right? So just think like that, like the autonomous vehicle, they are able to do the analytics on a road instantly, and for the healthcare devices which are able to do the diagnosis on on a real-time basis, or basically the smarter machines which are able to increase the productivity of a factory outlet. So none of this was possible, if I believe, is like if Edge would not have brought in the power of artificial intelligence closer to the sources of data generation, right? So, if you look from this perspective, it looks like that Edge has arrived, right? But I still believe like we are merely scratching the surface. It's not that, we cannot conclude it as of now. But at the same time, there are certain challenges in terms of Edge, be it like the current state of infrastructure, scalability, security, and Edge definitely is playing a key role into the architecture, but how do we strike a balance of centralized cloud system versus the intelligence that decentralized Edge basically brings to us, right? So, these are the key thought-provoking questions that comes to our mind when we think about this, think about the topic, right? So, what I request all of you is basically to, have a critical thinking about this topic. Also, engage actively and bring your own unique thought to this topic, onto this table. And so with this, I would like to warm welcome our distinguished panelists, speakers out here, who carries the wealth of knowledge and experience in this area. So join me in welcoming Mr. Kamlesh Harchandani. He is the VP Design and Projects for Data Center Business for Capitaland India, and he is there in the industry for last 30 years, and 20 years, like 2 decades, he has spent in this data center business. So yeah, welcome. So next to that, I would like to mention Mr. Amit, who is basically the president of data center business for Techno Electric. With us, joining in Sudhir, Mr. Sudhir, he is basically the Chief Business Officer for DCIX. So he is also carrying, around the 3 decades of experience. With me, Vishal, he is basically the Head of Data Analytics Platform Architecture from Jio. So with that, I would like to open the floor for our esteemed guest. And let's just dive into understand whether the Edge day has truly arrived, right? So just before jumping into the Edge question directly, I just want to understand from our panelists, how do we see the evolution of AI has progressed, and what do we think how AI has been deployed? Yeah.
Thanks, Gaurav. I think as we are approaching 2025, data center industry is, coming with the emerging technologies and giving, the new revolution in this segment. And these emerging technologies are not only reshaping the current data center industry, and I think the most important, we can see the emergence of AI application with the Chat GPT. We saw that the momentum around this, and they also got they also gained a large number of the consumers also, customers also. So I think we have seen that the landscape in terms of a data center emerging technologies. So I think I would just quote in some phrase in my past events. I used to say that what is the change in the current digital world? Earlier people used to adopt the technology. Today technology adopts people. So I think I have to rephrase this. Earlier people used to adopt technology. Today AI is adopting people. So that's what I feel that
Yeah, very wise words, honestly. So Amit.
So, taking the point where you left in terms of the artificial intelligence taking over multiple roles and responsibilities in healthcare, autonomous driving. I think the word artificial intelligence itself tells that it has to evolve, right? And it can be only evolved when you have a lot of data available. And fortunately, in India, we have a lot of data available. So all the learning models, how they will become intelligent by consuming this data that is being generated by every one of us. Whether it is in the best platform that you have incorporated in terms of the digital money transfer, I think that's one of the major use cases where a lot of data is getting generated, and you can analyze the spending pattern, you can analyze various other things, you can stop the frauds by using the artificial intelligence or the intelligence, I would say. So consumption of data will only happen when it is available or the technology is available in far-flung areas. Unfortunately, right now it is not there, it is quite centralized. But yes, with all the issues being taken care from the edge perspective, when the technology goes and sits at edge, this will further enhance the capability of artificial intelligence, and then we'll see the true transformative applications or occurrence or outcomes of artificial intelligence or AI models being adopted and being adopted by the industry.
Yeah, Sri.
Good afternoon, all of you all. My 2 cents on this is a little bit different in terms of the fact that if you look at the challenge that he mentioned, that challenge in itself is an opportunity because we don't have any legacy infrastructure as a country. We are very young when it comes to this business, which then gives us the ability to look at the huge headroom that we have. And if you look at the research that is openly available today, almost 30% of the organizations in India today are driving value internally and externally by deploying AI for predictive analytics, using multiple modes of computing, and the whole fact that this in itself is a very high number when it comes to global adoption. Take one step ahead, you see that almost 70% of the organizations have gone back on the drawing board in the last 18 months or so and rejigged their investment strategy and made AI investment must have from a good to have standpoint. A couple of these things, along with the fact that when AI goes and sits at the edge, as Amit said, and coupled with 5G for enterprise and IoT for that matter, which we call as the digital triangle, where you have all these 3 places culminating into one, is where the true power of edge AI plus will come into play. I think the next 5 years is one of the most interesting times for us here in India.
Yeah, great. So Vishal, would you like to add about
Thanks, Amit. So I think for me, this is the DNA in human, the evaluation. If you see, in 90s, we retired the clerical task with the software. But 10 years back, if you see, it's already foundation got started with the arrival of the processing, big data, distributed processing.
Correct.
That is one of the cornerstone of the AI, because we got the ability to process terabyte or petabyte of data. Second thing, good thing happened about the cloud. See the beauty of the elasticity of the cloud. So now, everyone we want to automate, we want to go further. And that's something we want to automate everything with the AI, whatever the mundane task we are doing. That will be very beneficial. Think about a situation, if he's a doctor having a 20 years experience, he saw a lot of MRI scan in his career. And if we can replicate his brain to a machine and a college pass out from the medical college, if we get the knowledge from that machine, finally that will help the society. Correct. So, yeah, going forward as a human, this is our brain is wired like that. We are going to automate. Two cornerstone is already there: the processing capability, the data center capability, the elasticity, the arrival, the moment the GPU is gaining the momentum. So yeah, it's very useful for the not only for the technology as Mr. Kamlesh said. So people is going to adopt the technology. That's where we are going. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Very powerful words. So I think our panelist has, very beautifully summarized the importance of AI and how the edge is basically helping in getting a real edge to it, right? So yeah, I think when Amit was explaining about the importance of edge coming out, making it more and more effective in terms of decision making and all. So just wanted to understand. I think Amit is do we really see the? Where do we see the edge is? Playing a critical role in terms of deployment of AI. How has it come? Where is it? Would you like to throw some light on it?
Thanks. So, if you see, in terms of adoption of AI, one of the major roadblock is the power density within the data center. Now, all of us in the data center industry are now claiming that our data centers are AI ready. That means we are able to support more density of power within our data centers. Now, that is a concept which has just started in our larger data centers. In the edge, so-called edge, it was actually I would not call it as an edge also. It was more of a telecom site which is there in the remote side, which was serving the purpose of the content distribution, the CD and the caching. Now, they were not ready, and the need of the hour is in terms of spreading that technology onto the edge side. So, at Techno, what we are doing is we have just signed up with RailTel to have these edge sites, specifically designed edge sites with higher power densities be available in more than 100 cities within the country. And this will of course be a phase-wise distribution, but in the first phase we have identified about 20 sites. Now these 20 sites are the sites where the generation of data is very high. We have the data available in terms of where is the consumption of data, what is the data being generated at particular sites, which are a typical use case if you see smart cities. Mm-hmm. Now in smart cities there is a lot of data which is getting generated. Mm-hmm. Now these data cannot be migrated to a central site which is there in Bombay or in the other location, and then the processing of data will happen. Correct. For the smart city to happen, like the use case surveillance. Surveillance has huge data. Now if you have to do surveillance, AI on surveillance, it is best that you do it on site. And which cities are better equipped? So we have done this particular survey and we have identified the top 20 cities where the data generation is high, governance is proper, there is need of the industry, and accordingly we are setting up these high density edge sites in those particular cities. Our previous panel also discussed that any location which needs to be AI powered basically required three things: power, fiber and water. Right? These are the three things that are required, and I would say that site also is very important in terms of which site that you select, how feasible is it in terms of the accessibility of human beings also. So those are certain things that we have done. We've been little fortunate that with RailTel all the prime site locations are available where the connectivity is not an issue. Availability of basic resources is not a problem. Security is proper, and then basically designing a solution which can incorporate AI is something that we are taking and ensuring, which will help take this edge sites and also ensure that the data crunching can happen in this sites only, and the feasibility of output is there at the local level itself.
Understood. I think beautifully summarized. Just wanted to understand, do we also have in the near future a possibility to look, I mean, to get a glimpse of any of such sites where we are basically deploying this and we are able to leverage them?
Yeah, we'll be ready with our first couple of sites in next 1.5 months time frame. And though I would not call it as a tier 2 cities, we are starting in Gurgaon and one in Mumbai. So,
Okay.
but it will give you a glimpse in terms of how the design has happened.
Okay.
And then we are taking up in cities like Baroda,
Uh-huh.
Indore, Lucknow, Chandigarh.
Okay.
So definitely, we'll see.
Great. So looks like, I mean, Edge is really solving the use cases. So I mean, this actually provokes me to move on to the next segment. I mean, like, just wanted to understand, as Amit mentioned, like in few of the cases, like smart cities and all, where you need instantaneously processing of artificial intelligence and the usage that people want out there. We just wanted to understand, like, what are the use cases that Edge is solving? Is it like, I mean, it is applicable everywhere across, or still the dominance of centralized cloud system remains somewhere? So Vishal, I mean, like, you basically at Geo, you must be processing a lot of, I mean, petabytes of data, right? So what is your thoughts to about the use cases of Edge in AI?
Sure. So see, why we are want to move to the edge computing? We want to take a real-time decision. Second, we don't want to flood the data to the centralized cloud data center, right? Correct. So when machine generates the data, a lot of unnecessary data is there. Response code is there. You want to remove the noise first, and then you want to remove the centralized. So definitely, whether you are moving the data with the TCP/IP or UDP, finally you are moving the data to the transport layer. So there is a bandwidth limitation. So edge computing is something where you can filter out the noise data. You can take the real-time decision. Now I'm coming to the AI ML of the edge. So see, computer doesn't have the brain. Whole world is talking about the AI, right?
Yeah.
So actually, whole world is trying to simulate the human brain into a computer with the data, with the experience. Without human intelligence, without a data expert, center expert, nobody in the world can make an effective AI ML model. That's the truth. That's the reality.
That's the truth. Yeah, correct.
40% role is played by the human intelligence. How can you create an AI model without data center expert? They understand the TPS, they understand the firewall, they understand the switch speed, torrent speed. They know what is the racking speed. So, yes, so I'm not the big fan of, by the way, LLM, ChatGPT. I'm sorry for that. So, but yes, but with this AI, we can, for the edge computing, we can, taking the real-time decision, we can generate some small model. We need to generate some synthetic data so that we can come up with the decisions in the traffic, in the industry 4.0, in the patient, lot of things we can take a decision. So yes, we have to use a lot of the, you can use the small data model over the edge now. So for example, you can, companies, big corporates are also planning to use the GPT-3.
Correct.
Because they have a small model, and they are even, you can use the GPT-4, but there is a way you can do the compression. There is a way you can do the human distillation. For example, if there is an expert, you are expert, you have a 20 years experience, and we can pick up your brain, and the output we can replicate to the small knowledge lake, right? So again, there is a pruning feature is there. So yes, we are going to create a lot of, with the human intelligence, with some AI algorithms, machine algorithm, we can train the edge, train the devices to take the data decision in the real time.
Understood. So I think Vishal very nicely he put BCI, brain computer into artificial intelligence, and from artificial intelligence how we can leverage it into the world of edge, right? So nicely explained. Great. So I mean, Kamlesh, just wanted to understand, with your 2 decades of experience in the data center business, so what do you think, like, I mean, how is that edge serving a purpose, I mean, in the world of AI, as Vishal has already explained?
Sure. Thanks, Gaurav. I think edge data centers are becoming increasingly popular as business look forward to improve network performance. and edge DCs are also going to play a very significant role for the various business segments. When I say various business segments, with the banking and financial, insurance, smart cities, the fellow panelists talked about factories, the autonomous vehicles and whatnot. So in a way, if I'd say that, edge data centers are, also helping with, when you are actually deploying edge data center with AI-enabled application. Vishal talked about AI-enabled application. This will also help improving fraud detection and prevention.
That's true.
When you are actually having data processing closer to the user, so I think these will definitely help increasing the edge data center rollout across the country.
Correct. I think that summarizes our question, like whether, how and where edge is basically serving as a use case for us. So, we discussed about like the AI, the edge, right? But now let's talk about how this investment part, if you think like everything that edge is going to do, so do we really believe like, the centralized cloud systems which were used to do heavy computation, which were used to deploy large language models, the complex models, right, which do the processing and all. So, are we thinking the investment directions are moving away from the, the centralized cloud systems? Kamlesh, what would be your thought?
See, I think if you talk about shift of investment from centralized data center to edge data center, I would say it's really not. Both are actually going in a different perspective. I'll probably come to that. So if I talk about from an edge perspective, edge begins where centralized data center ends.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Right? So in centralized data center, when the data is processing from field to in a centralized processing application, and when it returns back to its origin, so ultimately the amount of data actually which travels, and it's required a lot of bandwidth, and your user is actually getting a very bad experience because of the low latency. So I'll come to that in investment, but I'm just trying to give a perspective of this. So if I just give you another example, in a survey from IDC, by 2025, as per IDC, by 2025 there will be more than 40 billion of devices will be connected to the IoT.
Oh wow, yeah.
So imagine the kind of massive data is going to flow. So obviously with such massive data you require a huge computing power.
Correct.
So this can happen only with the distributed system, with the the localized nodes as well.
True.
So where I'm coming from, of course, load is going to reduce on the centralized data center, but there is another aspect of new emerging technologies, AI and NML. So why I'm saying so, I'll just give you, one survey which was, in fact, there's a real data points. NVIDIA sold 100,000 of AI server platforms last year. 100,000 of AI server platforms, which is amounting to about approximately $48 billion US. And now NVIDIA is also, this actually is expected to grow by 1.5 million of AI server platforms. So I'm just trying to give you the significance of this. So when you convert this 100,000 of AI server platform, which converts into 1 gigawatt of energy. So if you're talking about 1.5 millions of AI server platforms, so they are talking about 15 gigawatt of power by the end of 2027 or early 2028, which is more than a half of capacity of today's global data center capacity.
Oh.
So now I'm coming back to the question you talked about. The investment. You said the investment is getting shifted. It's not really that investment is getting shifted. I think other panelists also talked about in previous session. These are going in multi-fold. So investment, if you look at, if I just remain with the 15 gigawatt of power. But I think the previous session talked about the kind of capacity of 6 gigawatt we are going to be it's going to be deployed in India by 2030-31. So yes, investment will really is going to happen in the edge data center, but on the same time investment will really continue to have into the main centralized data center as well.
Correct. So what I understood is we are saying it's in parallel and it's in conjunction as well, right? So they both remain to be significant in the market in the next coming at least for a decade, right? This is what I understood. So thanks for summarizing that. Look, I think when we talk about data, right, that's good. Like data, when we curate it, when we transform it, when we try to extract the information out of it, it really serves all of us as a value, right? But that value comes at a cost. Many a times we have been seeing that the data privacy and data security is getting compromised, right? So being 3 decades into the industry, just wanted to understand from you. How do you think like that edge would be able to at least curb to an extent the measures of this data security and privacy in the field of AI, where especially the sensitive data comes around? Yeah.
So, see, I try to resonate what my co-panelists have said, that typically this is a case where you don't need to take the entire data away from where it is being produced and take it all the way, because that is the way latency will be a problem, that is the way where your transport will be a problem, that is where your security, your hacks and all those things will come into play. When you are closer to the place, what does AI typically take care of? Data security and the compliance angle also. So today we have a mechanism in place, even in India for that matter, where we would have compliances which take care of GDPR, likes of compliances as well as HIPAA. So what that will typically mean for the general adoption, and for us from an international space, we've seen many cases where edge has been successfully deployed and it's growing, and one is not at the cost of other. That is very important for us to note here. While we are saying that people have gone back to the drawing board and invested 70%, that 70% outlay does not mean that it has come at the cost of the traditional DCs that we put in. Number one. Number two, it gives you the ability to control the data flow, right? And when you have somebody like a TechX there, which is able to triangulate not only AI, which is a secure network because of the interconnection platform that we run, you will also be able to bring other elements into play, like I said some time back, actually getting the digital triangle into play, where you have the ability to process data, anonymize it to a large extent before going ahead and doing it, whether it is healthcare, whether it is BFSI space specifically, where you will see a lot of use cases which are being deployed today, and it's very exhilarating to know beyond academic knowledge that AI has been instrumental in going ahead and detecting cancer nodes, especially the lung cancer segment, where by using large learning models, by putting in patient reports, the CT scan, what a radiologist would have probably ignored is what is captured, and in patient care and in patients' life longevity, early detection is one of the most important things happening in there. Similar cases you will see in terms of the BFSI space. You come to governance point of view, you will see smart cities today being deployed where AI will definitely play a role. And I, for one, have got first-hand experience here in India, where we made announcements with a lot of organizations saying that these folks would deploy, and I've been privy to those discussions where we see the entire India map, where entire fiber is there, and these are the locations. But like Amit said, it's about the ability to walk the talk. Use cases, and then the industry would probably emulate you, because that's where the real story lies in India in terms of going beyond academic discussions and making this business actually work people's while we make those investments.
Right. I think Sudhir is, very nicely carved out a very sensitive piece of, out of AI, I would say, and how Edge would basically help us serving that need, right? Be it like anonymizing the data while sending it back to the centralized system, or basically preserving it and still applying the models, the edge model which Vishal had just clarified before. So I think yes. So so if I sum it up, it looks like, be it in terms of serving the value, or be it like in terms of the investment, or be it like in terms of data protection and the security, I think Edge has really arrived. So I would say like yes, as a conclusive statement, that Edge has really arrived to, as per the wisdom of our panelists. So yeah, so I just wanted to look forward from the audience if you have any queries, questions. I think our panelist has already summarized about the importance of Edge in the advent of AI. Yeah.
Unfortunately, so we are having a very tight schedule. So all the questions you can raise during the networking. Yes. So thank you so much once again, gentlemen, for the thoughtful panel discussion.